Let's get it. All right, guys, what's going on? All right, so today I just want to talk about a couple of the things that I have going on in this room and I guess what our plans are. Now, since the weather and everything is changing, I definitely have given my plants a little bit more light, just moving them around. Also, just ensuring that the plants just are getting the care that they need. The months now, it seems like everything's getting a little bit faster, so I have to keep up with what's going on here in my plant room. And due to the light and the care that I'm getting in plants, I don't think that they notice that the season is even changing. Um, I don't have any plants that I want to purchase. You tend to slow down a little bit when it comes to buying plants in the fall and the winter time. One being, it's not a lot of plants that's available. I don't know about like your local nurseries and so forth, but they will keep some good plants in there, some exotic plants. However, the plants usually aren't, it's not a whole lot of options to choose from. But again, some of the things that I've just been doing in here is buying more grow lights. Well, I get a lot of questions about what type of grow lights I'm using. Well, I'll tell you, my grow lights are the cheapest grow lights that Amazon has to offer. That's usually what I go with. Maybe they will burn out in about a year or two, but every one of these in here, I at least get a year out of them before I have to worry about replacing them. Any red, prayer plant. I can't tell you specifically on the prayer plant, although I do have a stromathe, which is in the Calathea family, which we put into the prayer plant family as well. Now, I will say this. Full disclosure, I just purchased this plant about 2 weeks ago. However, I did have this plant before. It did die. I think it was before I learned how to properly care for my plants, like water and so forth. But I'm gonna tell you what the nursery, what they told me. They said that this is a plant that does not like any type of sink water. You're gonna have to give it some purified water, or what I'm gonna do, don't follow me exactly until we confirm, I'm gonna boil my water. And after I boil it, I'm gonna put it in a water container and then put it here, because trying to keep up with bottled water plants, not only am I going to forget, it also gets to be expensive. So a Calathea plant, let their soil not dry out completely. Now, when their leaves start to do a little bit of crinkle, a little fold, that's your indication to go ahead and water them, okay? And make sure you use some filtered water or something you go from there. And this time around, I'm going to actually be feeding my plants as well. I was not feeding my plants the first time around with most of my plants, so I'm definitely going to incorporate this in. That's what the people at the nursery told me. They said they just fed this plant, so I'm good to go for another 4 to 5 weeks. And guys, just make sure you always do your research, because as I'm telling you this, if somebody has the exact plant that you're referring to, then follow their directions. Don't follow without trying first. Don't just 100% believe what somebody's saying, because a lot of factors like environments or even specific ingredients, not all soil is the same, okay? I know I recommend to a lot of you all say, hey, use Miracle Grow, pot mix, and so forth, but there are a lot of better ones out here. However, I just like to use what I use. What other questions anybody have? I don't know, did you all want me to go over my soil mix of what I buy and where I get them from? That's something I can kind of go over. Let's see here. I did my repot on my Philodendron glorisum right here. Oh, it's my big boy. I did a repot on this plant probably about 4 weeks ago, and I was worried about how I was going to acclimate to the room, and it's been doing pretty good. Now, I do have this plant over where our window is at, and it also gets grow light, and it gets about 8 hours of grow light a day. Now, one of the plants that I have in here that I am a little bit worried about, right here, is the Cream. She is a big mama, I'm telling you, and I do not know what to do with her. I talked about this before. I went to the store just to buy some type of fall stuff to put outside. Saw this plant sitting there, and I said, boom, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it, and boom. Now that it's cold, because you have to bring them in after 60 degrees when the weather drops outside, I brought it in, And now I'm asking everybody, like, what do I do? And I get a couple of people that's telling me, put it at an east facing window and make sure it gets plenty of light. Um, I believe you said, what is the most fussiest plant? And I'm going to tell you, the pink princess. That plant right there, now I do keep that plant upstairs in my room. I can run and go get it right quick if you would like. Just say yes, no, maybe so, and I'll go up there and get it and I'll show it to you. But that plant right there, once you figure out what kind of watering cycle it's on, you try to work with it, doesn't like it anymore. Once you give it some type of light that you think that the light is the best lighting, doesn't like it anymore. So what I've done is I put this plant in my room and it just gets the light from the window, no grow light. And I also put it on a like a moss pole for it to just grow the stem on. I put that plant there, guys, and that plant's been doing fine. So maybe the pink princess just wanted me to leave her alone and let her do her thing. And that's what she's been doing. Now, another fussy plant that I have would probably be my philodendron El Choco Red. Let me get her for you. Now, let me turn this so you can see where I got it from. I mean, you just like I popped up with a plant. Okay, so right over here, right here is where she sits at. This is my philodendron El Choco Red. Now, this plant right here was doing pretty good before I decided to move her over to that area. I don't believe it was the light because as I moved her, I bumped her and some of her soil came out. And instead of me replacing it with the soil, I just put perlite and orchid bark on top of it, as you see right here. And I believe that that's causing the plant to dry out a little bit faster than what I'm used to. So just keeping up with its watering cycle has become a little bit difficult. I would like to say I'm back on point. I noticed about 2 weeks ago that a leaf was turning like kind of yellowish spots in there. And I was thinking maybe that could be a fungus, what's going on in there. I got close to the plant, no type of pest, no type of anything. So then I just looked even closer and I felt the soil. I was like, this is dry. And it pawned on me like this soil is drying out a lot faster. That work, and I used to have her in a self-watering pot too. So a lot of factors to consider of what's going on. This pot right here, from my understanding, make sure, yeah, this part has basically closed up to the point that it's not really working. So when I did the repot, I just dropped it back in there. I probably need to do some type of adjustments just to get it properly watered again, because the self-watering was really helping me out. That's what I went through a phase probably about 6 months ago, where longer than that, gosh, I forget, time is flying. Last year around this time, I started putting a lot of my philodendrons and monsteras in self-watering pots. And they did pretty good. They just started outgrowing those pots. And unfortunately, I don't have the money to go and buy all those big self-watering pots. So I have to buy them bit by bit. So what I'm doing is saving enough to be able to buy them all at one time so I can repot them all at one time and get them all on the same cycle. I hate doing repots. I just get nervous about them. Let's see here. Sorry, we had a question or a statement. Let's see. And again, I don't know where everything goes. It's frustrating. Okay. Say, now that you're saying, well, so no. I know it has to be something I could do to be able to keep that up there. I'm sorry, Rolly. Yeah, that could be going on. And that's the thing is about those calatheas. They're so picky. You know, they like a specific type of water. They even like a specific type of humidity. I noticed that when I used to have my, first, I have had a prayer plant before. It was a purple one, and I think I jinxed myself with it. I really do. My plant was doing pretty good, and people was telling me on my Instagram, it was like, wow, you have one of those? How do you keep that alive? You do such a good job. To me, it was just a plant. And at that time, I just was putting the plant over in a corner or whatever I had left for space and just leave it there and put them all on the same watering cycle and so forth. Well, it just so happened that I put her in the perfect environment because it was like nice and shady. It was no bright light that ever came through at a particular time. I would not put that plant anywhere where sunlight can hit its leaf. A calathea is just too sensitive for that. So everybody started telling me I was doing a good job with the plant. I just got like a big head, like yeah. I went back to that plant in less than 2 months. It was nothing but just a crumple of leaves. So yeah. That's another thing too, is that I say when I take a picture of a plant or I record videos of a plant, it seems like I jinx myself. I'll say something like, "This plant has been doing perfect, no problems," and next thing you know, I have a problem. Now I'm making a long video on what I'm going to do to fix it. So. And that's another thing, is that I'm always working on what I can do better. So when it's coming to like the plant care and the videos and so forth, I have made so many videos on how to do this and what I do for that, that I feel like when I'm making a video, it's kind of redundant, and I don't want to just make a video to be making it, you know? I'm gonna slide this back a little bit, guys. Now, I don't know if you all remember this area over here, but do you all want to update on how the mealybugs are doing? Because you might be a little bit shocked. This area over here, I came over here, this was probably about, was it like 2 or 3 months ago we was doing the video, and I'll say if this plant over here or these plants over here have any type of pest or diseases still going on, I'm going to cut them all off and just start new, because I just got tired of, basically this was just a mealybug outbreak section. It just was terrible. So I cut all the plants off and I ended up moving them. And I moved a couple of other plants just to kind of fill in that space, or so I thought. The place never felt like home again over there. So I decided about a month or 2 ago to go and buy some more plants to be able to put over here. Now I bought about four of them, I want to say, and I believe I even did a video showing the 4 that I had purchased. But they fit in pretty good, and yeah, I'm just loving that space. So pop up. I appreciate that. I really do. Some of those videos are hard watch. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that. I was just starting off and I did not know what to talk about, you know, and I had done my research on if I'm starting a YouTube channel and if I'm talking about plants, to make sure I stick to the plants, and this is what I do. So a lot of the times I'm sounding so hard trying to say, don't water this and don't do that, as I'm correcting a mistake from me over watering. So it was like, dude, how do I teach? How do I show? And I don't know. I still don't think everything clicks when it comes to recording. I promise you, I'll do my research, and if I don't have nothing that I feel like I can talk about that can be a good stance or subject, then I will look up something that a lot of people want to know, and I will see if that's something that I can talk about or relate to. I'm not going to get up here and just talk about nothing. That's one thing Mama ain't do, was raise no fool. I'm not going to do that. But I will say, a lot of the information that I do share, that I did get right, was trial and error. And that's really the only way you're going to be able to effectively grow a plant, is trial and error. A lot of my plants in here are plants that I've had, this is either the second, third, fourth attempt, okay? And these are easy plants. So when people want way more complicated plants like those alocasias and the anthuriums, in my mind, I'm just like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But let me show you all the mealybug section. And I bet you wouldn't know that this section had mealybugs unless I told you. Oh, that's not good. I mean, let's see here. All right, so our mealybug section is right there. I can turn on the light. Here we go. Ta-da! It's beautiful in there, isn't it? It's full of mealybugs. It's not as bad as it used to be. I am treating it right now. I've been using this. I'll show it to you. Now, I don't like to talk about things until I fully know about it, but I am, since we're here on live, it's not like I'm doing a whole video review on it. I'm just letting you know what I'm using. I'm using this 203 stuff. It was recommended to me by a couple of people, and I say, you know what? The final straw was, I had posted a picture and I was saying, hey, I'm having a little bit of problem. I need to figure out what's going on. And a girl messaged me and she said, try this, go with this. And the rest is big history. So, and I say girl, but I mean one of my friends on here. It's just didn't feel the need to have to disclose all that information. But yeah, you know, that's the whole thing. If you can get an Instagram account, you know, follow me on there. Look up the people that I follow. Every single person that I follow on my Instagram are good people. And you're not gonna get on there and find people, all the people that I follow that have 2, 3, 400,000. Because I found out that some of the best people who know how to care for plants just terrible at video and terrible at audio, but they know their stuff, you know, and that's, to me, that's what I want. I want the information. All the fluff and everything is nice, don't get me wrong. I try to put some fluff on mine to be able to get some people too. However, having that information of really being able to help people with their plants is really all people want, you know. So in here is the mealybug festation. We have a Hoya over here who she just innocently got it. She just so happened to be in here when the outbreak started coming along, and she just stayed for the ride, whether she wanted to or not. The rest of these down here, for the most part, are nothing but pothos. I do have a Monstera Adesani that's all the way in the back, and I have the Hoya. This is a Carry all the way in the back left that looks like a heart. Let me show you. Okay. Right over here. This is the Carry. Hope you should be able to see it. That's a Hoya right there. And the second one I have right here is a Hoya Crimson, not the Princess. I think I was corrected on that. Not for sure. If I buy a plant and it has it labeled a certain name on it, and again, I don't really know the plant specifically, I just go with the name that was given. But don't worry, it's always somebody that's willing to help you out and give you the correct name. And I have Signoniums. I feel like pothos and Signoniums need to come with a full disclaimer that says this plant will get mealybugs at one point in its life. I just feel like you should be honest with the people. But that's what we have going on here. Again, what I've been doing with the 203 is mixing a little bit in my water bottle. Spray it up. I'll show you the size water bottle. Right here. This is the size water bottle I'm using. You put about 10 ounces in here, pour it in here, you're good to go. All right, guys, and I have to figure out, I think this right here is where the camera is at. I have to figure out how to look into that and not look into over there. It's just a different system. But let me show you all what I also just discovered some mealybugs on this morning. We're gonna just turn right here. Well, you already can see it's a good picture. Right here, my Monstera Thai Constellation. She is a beautiful plant. Let me see if I can turn her so you can see her. Yeah. So, this was one of my 3 Monsteras that I found at Lowe's that I bought for $29 a piece. I probably had them now for about like 6 or 7 months. Immediately, probably 2 weeks after I bought this plant, we had thrips on it. I do not believe this Monstera initially had the thrips. I believe that the flame that I had purchased, I did not separate it. I did a spray to it real quick, but that was just to make the leaves look nice. And I set it over there so I can get a picture. And I noticed that that plant started looking a little bit weird. And when I got in there, I said, let me go ahead and treat it. But that time it had already touched and mingled with most of the plants over there. Luckily enough, this was the only plant to get the thrips. So that problem was definitely avoided. Because I do not want another thrips outbreak, guys. Sorry about that. I do not want another outbreak of that because I remember going through that phase where all of my Monstera was completely gone. That was miserable. But it happens. It happens. If anybody who have plants understands that you hope to have more perfect moments than bad moments, but sometimes you just run into some unexpected things that you didn't know was going to happen. You didn't know maybe somebody let the window up, or somebody bumped your plant, or maybe it grew a different type of direction. You know, I know a person who was watering their plant for 3 months and the water never hit the tray. So things like that happen. Anyway, I don't know if I circle back on here. You take a little bit of this 203, I would just say a top full and put it in with 10 ounces of water and you're good to go. Really, really loving the way this room is looking, guys. It's really looking good. All right, anybody have any questions? If not, then I'm gonna go ahead and hop off of here. All right, I'll give 10 more seconds. And not because I'm that busy, it's just I just don't want to be on here if I don't need to be. I don't want to waste nobody's time. All right. Well, I appreciate the ones that was here. I appreciate you asking me some questions. If you have some stuff that you want me to answer, leave them. You can comment under this live video. Leave them there. And definitely when I come on live next time, I'll talk about it. It gives me something to talk about. Anyway, y'all take care, all right? And I'm going to get another long form video out this Sunday, but I may get another quick one again too. So I don't know. Y'all take care.